Riyadus Saliheen. Chapter 74, Clemency, Tolerance, and Gentleness. Allah, the Exalted, says, "They are those who donate in prosperity and adversity, control their anger, and pardon others. And Allah loves the good doers." Surah 3 verse 134. Be gracious, enjoin what is right, and turn away from those who act ignorantly. Surah 7 verse 199. Good and evil cannot be equal. Respond to evil with what is best, then the one you are in a feud with will be like a close friend. But this cannot be attained except by those who are patient and who are truly fortunate. Surah 41 verse 34 to 35. And whoever endures patiently and forgives, surely this is a resolve to aspire to. Surah 42 verse 43. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, Messenger of Allah peace be upon him said to Ashaj Abdul Qais, may Allah be pleased with him, you possess two qualities that Allah loves. These are clemency and tolerance. Reported in Sahih Muslim. Commentary: this hadith teaches us to adopt a patient, mild and discreet attitude towards others. Moreover, there is a provision for praising somebody in his presence, provided there is no likelihood of his being conceited. The hadith also provides inspiration for the cultivation of good habits. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, the Messenger of Allah peace be upon him said, Allah is forbearer and loves forbearance in all matters. Reported in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. Commentary: mildness also brings human beings closer to one another, and on this count, Allah likes it very much. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet peace be upon him said, Allah is forbearer and he loves forbearance, and rewards for forbearance while he does not reward severity, and does not give for anything besides it, forbearance. Reported in Sahih Muslim. Commentary: mildness is the opposite of harshness. Allah enjoins softness and dislikes stiffness in human relations. Allah assures of reward for gentle behavior in society, not for unkindness or anything like that. However, inflexibility is preferred to flexibility when there arises a question of religious matters and the limits set by Allah. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, the Prophet peace be upon him said, whenever forbearance is added to something, it adorns it, and whenever it is withdrawn from something, it leaves it defective. Reported in Sahih Muslim. Commentary: to be soft-spoken is such a quality that by virtue of which a man is not only endeared to people but also to Allah. And by being bereft of it, he not only becomes a contempt incarnate in the eyes of people but also with Allah. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a Bedouin urinated in the mosque, and some people rushed to beat him up. The Prophet peace be upon him said, leave him alone and pour a bucket of water over it. You have been sent to make things easy, and not to make them difficult. Reported in Sahih al-Bukhari. Commentary: this hadith brings into light the fact that leniency is also vitally needed in the sphere of education and discipline. This is particularly true in the case of ignorant and ill-bred people. This is so because if they are treated unkindly, they will become more indocile on account of their wild temperament and foolishness. A kind handling is indispensable for putting them to discipline, even if they make desperate blunders. This hadith is very beneficial with regard to the way of dawah, guidance, and practical education. Another point this hadith discloses is that the flow of water can wipe out dirt and impurity, and make the place free from its effect. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet peace be upon him said, make things easy and do not make them difficult, cheer the people up by conveying glad tidings to them and do not repulse them. Reported in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. Commentary: this hadith informs us that preaching, sermons, religious discourses, and moral advice all should concentrate on such things as may be helpful to people in being inclined towards gaining religious knowledge. Likewise, this aspect should also be kept in view in the exposition and interpretation of religion. Moreover, the tone and mode of expression of religious leaders should not be repulsive, and based on sectarian hatred, rather it should pull hearts to religion. In brief, preachers and ulama must be regardful of the central point of the cause to which they are dedicated. Jarir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah peace be upon him said, he who is deprived of forbearance and gentleness is, in fact, deprived of all good. Reported in Sahih Muslim. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a man asked the Prophet peace be upon him to give him advice, and he peace be upon him said, do not get angry. The man repeated that several times and he peace be upon him replied every time, do not get angry. Reported in Sahih al-Bukhari. Commentary, this hadith has already been quoted. Yet the compiler has repeated it on account of its relevance with this chapter. It is to be noticed that an advice should be made as circumstances demand. When Messenger of Allah peace be upon him perceived by his insight that the visitor was a person of sharp and fiery temper, he repeatedly advised him to resist anger. Abu Ya'la Shaddad bin Aayuz, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah peace be upon him said, verily Allah has prescribed ihsan, kindness, for everything. So when you kill, you must make the killing in the best manner, when you slaughter, make your slaughter in the best manner. Let one of you sharpen his knife and give ease to his animal, in order to reduce his pain. Reported in Sahih Muslim. Commentary, by killing is meant the killing of a harmful animal, or the killing of a murderer as retribution, and the killing of the enemy in the battlefield. All these situations warrant killing but with a stress on moderation, thanks to Islamic teachings. A believer is told not to let his passions of enmity go wild, and even an enemy or a criminal ought not to be put to a torturous death. In the pre-Islamic period of ignorance it was a prevalent practice that the limbs of a victim were mutilated before he was finally killed. Islam has forcefully forbidden this inhuman custom, stating that the victim should be beheaded with the one swing of sword. Similarly, there are specific instructions regarding an animal's slaughter. First, the knife should be sharpened. Second, the animal must not be slaughtered from its nape, because in both ways it will suffer pain. This Sharia rule ensures quick death of the animal. In modern Europe, an animal is slaughtered with one stroke of a cutting machine. Apparently this method seems to be easy and smooth, yet in this way the animal's blood doesn't flow out from its body completely. So the consumption of the meat of such a kill is injurious to human health. Due to this reason, Islam considers the discharge of blood as a prerequisite to halal, lawful. Certainly, only the Islamic way of slaughtering an animal is more sound, scientific, and wholesome. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, whenever the Prophet peace be upon him was given a choice between two matters, he would, always, choose the easier as long as it was not sinful to do so, but if it was sinful he was most strict in avoiding it. He never took revenge upon anybody for his own sake, but when Allah's legal bindings were outraged, he would take revenge for Allah's sake. Reported in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. Commentary, the two things between which Messenger of Allah peace be upon him would make his choice could be religious or worldly. For instance, if he were asked to award one of the two punishments to somebody, he would choose the milder one. And if he had the liberty of choice between two obligations, he would opt for the easier one. Between war and peace he would always go for peace, provided it involved the interest of Islam and Muslims. Moreover, in all matters he used to take the line of least resistance, in case it went without the disobedience of Allah. In this hadith, a principle has been defined for Muslims in general, as well, that they are free to take to an easy way, but this must not entail a loophole in respect of the Sharia. Secondly, the most excellent character of Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, also comes to our view that he never retaliated for personal reasons. His extraordinary concern for the sanctity of Islamic law is also displayed by the fact that he could never brook the transgression of Allah's limits, and the transgressor was sure to be punished by him. The Prophet's attitude also explains and delimits the sphere of morality, that to let the violator of divine law go scot-free must not be counted as a sign of good manners. Rather, it reflects the lack of religious sensibility. Not to take exception to lapses in mundane affairs surely speaks of moral excellence, but we are not allowed to dispense with the evasion of religious rules. Ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, "Shall I not tell you whom the hellfire is forbidden to touch? It is forbidden to touch a man who is always accessible, having polite and tender nature." Reported in Jami at-Tirmidhi. Commentary: the hadith throws light on a kind bearing which is rooted in faith and saves man from hellfire. The second lesson is that prior to discussing something important with somebody, we should make him attentive and receptive, so that he may take interest and put faith in what we tell him. Ya Habib, salam alayka.